What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Blue J Tay, and I am back again with another one, man. You can't please everyone. I feel like naturally when you grow up in a loving environment and the energy is reciprocated, it can be easy to get caught up in this mindset of trying to people please or trying to bring the best out of a person. But there comes a point in time in life where each and every last one of us comes to the realization that you simply cannot change people. You simply cannot bring the best out of everyone. You cannot spend your time crossing oceans for people who wouldn't even jump puddles for you. The more time that you waste trying to get the best out of somebody or bring the best out of somebody, the more time that you're spending away from pouring into yourself. Life is way too short to be judging people based off potential instead of their current reality in the position that they're in at that very moment. But it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how great of a person you are, you're going to run into people who are simply not satisfied. No matter how much effort you put in, no matter how many times you sit down and you communicate your feelings, you have to understand that sometimes enough is enough. You are draining yourself trying to bring the best out of the next person. And I feel like once we get caught up in this mindset of people pleasing, it's all to validate us in a sense. And this is where self-love and self-respect all tie into, because once you value and you respect yourself enough, you will spend much less time trying to be approved by the next person or trying to get the next person on your program, because you understand that you're the only person that you need to prove something to. Everybody is going to have different opinions. Everybody is going to have different perspectives and outlooks on you. Some you may like and some you may not like. The point that I'm trying to make with this is the fact that you cannot spend your time trying to please everybody. This will always leave you feeling empty. This will always leave you feeling lost in a sense of dealing with the people that you're trying to please. But you just have to keep in mind that you lose yourself when everyone continues to take from you and doesn't pour back into you. Just think about any relationship, friendship, this could be family, anything that you may have been in where you were the one constantly trying to keep things in motion. I guarantee that you wasted a lot of energy, you wasted a lot of resources, and not only that, but just time that you invested. And in reality, none of those things that you can get back. The best thing that you can do if you're stuck in a situation where somebody's constantly trying to exploit you is to simply walk away. Developing this sense of self-love within yourself, understanding that you simply do not have all the solutions, as much as you'd like to have them. And it's so funny because I feel like sometimes people may put this burden or this weight or this responsibility in a sense on those that they know are used to people pleasing. So you may meet somebody that's genuinely good-hearted and they may feel responsible for your downsides in life. And the majority of people would take advantage of somebody like that because they know that they don't have to carry the weight of their own failures. You should never put yourself in a position to make anyone feel low of themselves. So this idea of people pleasing will always make you feel let down, because like I said previously, it doesn't matter who you run into or when you run into them. One day you're going to be faced with somebody that you simply cannot please. Everything that you do is just not going to be enough. This may be due to their standards or maybe just experiences that they've had in their life that put them on this, let's say, higher pedestal in a sense. And that's okay, that's good for them. You should be so content with your life and who you are that you can meet anybody today and you wouldn't change a thing. And I used to do this when I was younger. This is how you know if you're a people pleaser, because think about how your personality switch. You may be around somebody that you like or somebody that you may not like, right? You show them different versions of you or a side of you that you're not normally like. You're not being 100% yourself. And you do this because one, you don't want to be judged, or two, you just don't want somebody to view you a certain way. It's important to always practice authenticity. Who I am behind these closed doors is who I need to be around anybody else in this world. And that's how I'm going to always be my true, genuine self 100%. I know that if I go out right now and I meet somebody and I'm moving or acting a different way, that in a sense I'm trying to people please. I want them to have this perception on me that seems ideal in my head, so that I know the results of that interaction is going to be worthwhile. But if you turn yourself into this person behind closed doors and always act on your principles and the morals and things that you may set in place, it's going to be much easier to go out into the world and always be yourself, because you know you represent something that is worthwhile. You know that you represent something that you want to be represented for, but you should always think it's you or them. And for the sake of this video, we're just going to tie it into relationships. But let's say you're in a relationship, 9 times out of 10, that other person, and this doesn't even just have to be a relationship, but any other time in the world, an individual is probably going to choose their happiness over yours. So if you're put in a position where it's you or them, you cannot blame the next person for putting their happiness above yours. This is exactly how it should be. So in order to avoid the letdown and that feeling of feeling like you may not have done what you needed to do, you should always put yourself first. You should always think that it's me or them, and I know that they're going to choose their self, because the world that we live in are full of selfish people when it comes to their happiness, and you cannot blame somebody for putting their happiness above yours. As an individual, as somebody who came into this world alone and who's going to go the exact same way, you should be moving accordingly. And one way that I like to think of this version of trying to people please is I like to think of people in a sense as just a huge ocean. You can pour gallons and gallons and gallons of your effort, your energy, your time into the ocean, and it would not make a single difference. The ocean would not be affected of everything that you poured in. And when you meet the right person, this is a reflection, or this is exactly how it's going to be. The effort that you put in is not going to make a difference. The time that you put in isn't going to affect them or make them feel like you did anything that was beneficial to them. Take the time right now to completely reflect and think about everything that you've been trying to pour into everyone else and pour it into yourself. The time that you spend thinking about ways to make the next person's day better, try to make your day better. Because if you're not in the right mental headspace, you're not going to be able to do anything for everyone. Always put yourself first. Always make sure you're good, because if you're not good, then you're not going to be able to be valuable to anyone. You're not going to be able to go out and do anything that you need to do because you're not in the right headspace. And when I used to spend majority of my time people pleasing, now that I look back and I reflect, one thing that I lacked was confidence. I felt like, and this is simply, because of the way that I was raised, but I felt like if I wasn't people pleasing, or if people weren't seeing the best from me, then they just weren't going to stick around. So I say that to say that people pleasing in a sense could stem from any insecurities that you may have. That's why I feel like it's very important that you make sure that you're good with yourself. Because if you have this mindset of people pleasing, somewhere deep down inside of you, you have some form of insecurities, because you're constantly trying to pour in and please everyone. People who are 100% confident and content with who they are don't spend their time trying to people please, because they understand that 1, you can't please everyone, and then 2, it's way too draining trying to make everyone happy. You simply do not have all the resources to please everybody. And the more time that you waste trying to, bring the best out of everybody, the more time that you're going to spend away from bringing the best out of yourself. You matter just as much as anyone else. And just to clarify, I don't mean that you shouldn't be a good person. I feel like it's okay in terms of just, wanting to see people do better. But there has to be certain standards in place, and you have to put yourself first, regardless of anything. I used to always feel guilty when I wasn't trying to do for the next person. Somebody call your phone, they may need a favor, they may need you to be there for them. And you being that person who you feel as if is very reliable and always there for your good friends, if you can't make it, or if you don't do the things that they ask you to do, it's going to make you feel guilty. You got to eliminate that mindset, because I guarantee if the shoe was on the other foot, that person that you're calling is not going to be there every single time that you call them and you need something. It just doesn't work that way, and you can't blame them, because life happens. People are going to grow, people are going to expand, people change. And not only that, but people just simply outgrow each other. So you can't expect somebody to always be in a position to help you or to try to please you. Therefore, other people shouldn't expect that from you. And one thing that I feel like is often overlooked is that this version of people pleasing is a constant pursuit. And when I say constant pursuit, I mean just that feeling of constantly trying to please the next person just gives people this dopamine rush, or it gave me this dopamine rush that I needed in order to continuously do those things. So in order to get out of this state of mind, you have to completely eliminate this idea of pursuing this version of somebody in this manner, meaning that you should allow people to see you for exactly who you are in that moment. Allow people to love you at your lowest. Allow people to witness and experience you in your natural form, not you trying to do everything in the world to make that person see the value in you. Because what's going to happen is that at some point during the relationship, friendship, or whatever it may be, you're going to ease off. You may start doing less. Something may come up in your life where you don't have the energy or the time, and the person is going to realize that, or to them, it may seem as if you're falling off because you're not doing the things that you were doing in the beginning. All of that extra hard work, all of that people pleasing stuff that you were doing, this is going to affect the person because they're going to think like, man, when I first met you, you were doing this. Now you're not doing half of that. I don't like this. This isn't what I signed up for, and it's just not going to work. This works in friendships. The same applies to relationships. Any form of relationship that you may have in your life, you have to come in and allow people to earn the best version of you. You have to allow people to see the vision. You have to allow people to work for your best version, in a sense, not just going in trying to people please and do everything in a book to make that person see the value in you. That's why I feel like it's huge that we're content with who we are, because when you're content with yourself, you don't go into relationships or friendships trying to people please. You know your worth and you know your value, and you're not trying to force the other person to see it. If they see it, then great. If not, then great. But if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you so much. It's your boy Blue Jay Tay. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.